Hello everyone. So this is a video on ServiceNow ITSM basics. This is video 1.1, and in this what we're going to be doing is going over what is ITSM, why is it important in ServiceNow, ServiceNow and ITSM, which are spelled at the same point, and how to get your own developer instance. So in this ITSM basic series, what I plan on doing is taking you through how to log a request, an incident, a problem, a change as an end user, and then how to deal with it as an analyst. And if you don't know what these things, what I'm saying is yet, then that's fine. This will all be explained shortly, hopefully. But yeah, let's get on with it. So what is ITSM? If you don't know what ITSM is, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a fairly convoluted term, and what that means is literally it is information technology service management, which is it surrounds how you implement, manage, and deliver our IT services. So that's implement, manage, and deliver your IT services. To give you some real world examples, implementation. Let's just say you have a server that you want to implement so you can store files on it. ITSM would be involved in that. There would probably be a request made, probably a change as well, and then an incident would be created if anything goes wrong with that implementation. You then want to manage that. So what is your service level in terms of that server? If that server breaks, who deals with it? Who and what timescales do you have to deal with it? And the deliverance of it. So who handles the request for the server, for example? Who's going to go and install it? Who are you going to assign to do that actual piece of work? So that's basically ITSM in a very, very small nutshell. There is a lot more to it than that. But in terms of ServiceNow, if you don't have ITIL, that's fine. It might be a series I do in future. But in terms of ServiceNow, you don't really need it. And in ServiceNow, ITSM in general primarily encompasses incident management, change management, request fulfillment, and problem management. There is a lot more to it, as I say, but in terms of ServiceNow, you might not encounter this as much or care about it really. And as I said before, to sort of outline these, it could be ordering a laptop, it could be reporting a fault with your keyboard, it could be managing an ongoing problem with a network, or letting everybody know that you're going to be upgrading the operating system of your key systems. So, what is it? Why is it important? I should say, why is it important? I'm going to leave it in. I'm not going to cut it because mistakes happen, and I will be making mistakes in this series, so why not? And why is it important in ServiceNow? So, why is anything important in terms of what you do with IT? So, if you're buying a new laptop with the company, you want there to be a record of this, surely. You know, if I spend £1,000 or $1,000 or 1,000 Zimbabwean dollars on a new laptop, then I want the business to know who's requested it, who's authorized that, the price, do they already have it? If they leave the company, have they given it back? That kind of stuff. And ServiceNow is perfect for this because you get to keep an audit trail, which is the top point here. So for end users, it allows them to see where their laptop is. If they've ordered a laptop, it allows them to see where it is in the delivery pipeline. Obviously, providing the analyst updates this, and it allows analysts to see a record or an audit trail of the records that they've created as well. So it's really good. It's also reportable. Now, reportable, I did put the shareholders point in here, but you can report on things for your analysts as well. So an analyst can report on how many tickets they've got assigned to themselves. They can also report on, the average time it takes them to close one of these support tickets down. But realistically, reporting, it's incredibly good for shareholders. You can say, look, we solved 95% of our incidents within 24 hours, which is actually quite a good feat. I mean, a lot of companies aim for a few hours, but 24 hours is fine in, real world scenario. So ServiceNow can also handle approval. So as I say, if I request that £1,000 laptop, I can send it off for approval. And then somebody can approve that from an email from ServiceNow itself, and that will go back into the system and go, yeah, it's been approved. Please proceed with the purchasing of this laptop. Then after that, you've got notifications. Notifications are a key point. Obviously, if you create a record in ServiceNow, you would probably want to be notified if it's been assigned to you to work on, or if you've created it, you'd also want to see, look, you've created this record, just to let you know it's been inserted into the system correctly, and several other integral operations as well. Like you can do password resets in ServiceNow, you can do account updates in ServiceNow, you can order items in ServiceNow, you can create items on a different task board in ServiceNow, you can do anything. Realistically, you can do anything in terms of a web tool in ServiceNow that any other piece of software can do. You can manage holidays in ServiceNow. You can do human resources. You can, do a joiner and leaver process. You can do a report. You can arguably write video games in ServiceNow if you really, really wanted to. And then this bottom part here is the same as the first part, but realistically, it means the same sort of thing. You can order a laptop in ServiceNow. You can report a fault with your keyboard, or you can manage an ongoing problem with the network. But without ServiceNow, or without any sort of ITSM tool, how do you know that any of this has happened? And how do you know when it's been fixed or delivered? Or how do you know that the ongoing network problem doesn't exist anymore? This is obviously providing that you've got more than one office, because if a network problem is resolved, and everybody's going to be cheering that they've got their internet back. So my next point, if we go back to slide 1, is ServiceNow and ITSM. So for this, what I want to do is I want to show you some basic stuff in ServiceNow. When I say relating to ITSM, like an incident or a request or a problem or a change. And I'll do that now. So to do that, I need to just change my scene. So we're in the window. Cool. So now we're in the window. And in this, you should be able to see a wide variety of things here. If you've never used ServiceNow before, it might be a little bit daunting. We'll just cross that one off for now. So this is a personal developer instance. And in this personal developer instance, you can you have the keys to the kingdom. You can do what you want. You can impersonate end users. You can impersonate analysts and managers in ServiceNow to do all of this, cool stuff that I'm going to show you in this course. So, for example, if you're a system administrator, you can do all of this magical stuff, but we're not bothered about this at the minute. What we want to do, I'm going to show you what an incident looks like in the back end, what a request looks like in the back end, a change as well as a problem. So in ITSM, you generally have incidents, requests, changes, and problems. So let's just see. So if you type in incident, you'll get self-service incidents, service desk incidents, and the incident, drop-down column itself. Now, these two we don't really care about at the minute. So we want to have a look at all of the open incidents in ServiceNow. So you can hover over this and then control-click, middle mouse button. You can left-click it, but that won't open it in a new tab. And then you see this quite scary list. So let's take a look. We're currently dropping it down by the number. So let me just quickly see here. Yeah, so what we're doing at the minute is we are filtering from the most recent created incident downwards. So for example, this assessment ATF assessor here, whatever the short description says, this is the most recently created incident. So let's have a look at it. In here, you will see an incident form. And in this incident form, an analyst can come in and do some work in here. An end user can post some comments in here to say, look, yeah, this has worked, it's fixed, or no, it hasn't been fixed. Please help me. And what else we want to do is take a look at... So that is literally just at the top and bottom of an incident form. You can do all this in the incident form. And that's it. We'll obviously go much more in depth into these incident forms at a later date. But right now, it's a basic video. It's the first video. I just want to get, hit the ground running. Yeah, more or less. And in this as well, we want to look at requests. So requests are a bit different incidents. Now, an incident would be, I've got a problem with my laptop. That is the incident. When the laptop is fixed, that incident is closed. It's done. You throw it away. It's in the bin. Now, a request is, it's like an incident, it's a record, but it has requested items in it. So, for example, I'm just going to see if I can pull anything off my desk here. So, I've got a pen. I'm going to request a pen, and this is the request of the pen, and the requested items in the pen would be, well, I need the pen itself, I need the thing to write it, as well as the pen lid to, you know, put it on when I'm done, make sure the ink doesn't dry out, and a pen lid, yeah? So the request is the thing that's holding it all together, but the requested items are the individual components that make up the request. So once you've got the pen put together, the customer then has the requested item, or items like the pen lid and the writing pen. Then, if I can put the lid back on, then the request can be closed and thrown away. So that's how a request works. So let's take a look at it and see if we can make sense of what I've just told you. So let's just see. Open requests. There's one, luckily. But let's have a look at it. See if we can get some stuff from it. Cool. So this is the request shell. The request might have some description in it, like, let's have a look. Hello, can I please request an Apple iPad 3? And obviously that would then, you know, you would obviously expect the requested item to be in here, which it is. So I've requested an Apple iPad 3, and in that request, I've only got one thing that I want, which is the Apple iPad 3. So this would be the requested item in the request. Now, once this request is closed, the request will close automatically because, as I say, once you've got all the bits of your request made, you can close that off and throw it away, which is fine. So this is the Apple iPad request. You'll notice that it looks quite similar to the incident form, and that's absolutely fine because that's how ServiceNow works. You get an out-of-the-box system, and then you can customize it as you see fit and as necessary, which is fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. So the next thing I want to show you is, let me just open a new window because I want to keep the request and the requested item open as well as the incident. Now, a little bit of advice. If you do middle mouse button the top left corner of ServiceNow, it will open ServiceNow in a new window, but it will not give you the side panel. To get the side panel back, all you need to do is remove that and press enter, and that'll give you it back. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is a problem. So a problems are a weird one. So there are, I've just left the request form. Let me go back to that and go back to that in here. So problems. So problems are ongoing incidents. Now an incident is a disruption or a temporary disruption to a service. My laptop's broken, I can't do my job. That's an incident. You then may make a request off that incident to get a new laptop. Once the request has been fulfilled and the incident is no longer relevant, i.e. the customer now has a new laptop to perform their duty, you can close the incident, you can close the request. Now what happens if I've got 30 users or 5 users with an ongoing network problem, or they're all unable to send emails? Well, you would use a problem. So a problem is for ongoing issues, ongoing problems, as you know, by default. So basically, what you would have a look at in here, the description of the problem is unable to send or receive emails. It looks like the issue is with the email server, which is fine. It gives you a little bit of, you know, background there. The problem statement is just unable to send or receive emails. Now, in here you would see the notes. You would see who is managing the problem, the categorization of the problem, and the subcategorization. You do some analysis. Now, if you have a workaround, so this is what is we're leaning towards the ITIL definition here. So what you want to do with a workaround is, you know, you identify what you can do to still achieve this email sending. So maybe you use Gmail instead of Outlook email for a temporary period, and all your customers' emails just go to a Gmail address instead. That would be the workaround. Now, all of the incidents, what you would do is you would gather all of the incidents that have that problem. Like, for example, here, let's just choose a few. Let's just choose the ATF ones for now, which is fine. And then you would add selected, And then you can see that this problem now has 2 incidents. So these, let's just say email 1, email 2. So let's just say this problem now has 2 emails in there. Now, like, 2 incidents related to the email problem. You could go, okay, well, the workaround is forward to different address, which is fine. And then I would update the problem record, and then I would go back into the problem, and I can see that the workaround is forward to different address. That's fine. So because we have a workaround, these 2 incidents can be closed. They can be closed off. You can't do it because you need to fill out some mandatory field. That's fine. But realistically, when you identified a workaround to a problem, all of the incidents attached to that problem should then be closed, following ITIL's definition. Once you've completed the problem, you then go into one of these next steps up here. I will go into these at a later date. Problem will probably be in a later episode. Incidents and requests are what we want to tackle first in the ITSM Basic series. And this one I'm sort of aligned with the developer series as well, so that makes sense. In the change, you can look at open changes. So changes are a fun one. If I want to update an operating system on 30 or 40 computers, or if I want to add a network switch to a cabinet, or if I want to reboot a server, or if I want to upgrade MySQL, you would have to make a change for it, because the business needs to be aware of these changes in case of an outage. So if there is an outage, the business goes, that's why, that's fine, I know what, we can calm down now. Otherwise, you then go, this is a major incident, this is a critical error, we need to, apply all of the power onto this to get it resolved. And this is what the change form looks like. And changes will be coming along with problems. They'll be at a later date. We want to go through incidents and requests first, and that's fine. So I've showed you the basics of the forms. I just wanted to show you a little bit of a little bit of navigation without going too deeply into it, which I will do in later episodes. So for now, what I want to do is I want to show you how to get your own instance that you can practice along with in these videos. So what you want to do is you want to type in developer.servicenow.com. You can see that I've got it in some of my history here. It will take you to the developer website. And in your... I'm already logged in, so that's fine. You can see my instance, but you can't see my password, which is good. I was about to start panicking. But let's just say I go to a private window. Developer.servicenow.com. So I'm not logged in, as you won't be. And what you want to do is create an account here. Once you've created your account, log into your account. You might need to verify it first, but once you've created your account, log into it. And then you can request, once you've logged in, you'll see your instance or request an instance down here. Click request instance. And for the purpose of this series, I would request an Orlando instance. That should come to you within 1 or 2 minutes, thankfully. And if you don't have the option to select Orlando, that's absolutely fine. Go for one of the previous releases, Madrid or New York. But that's fine. If you... Sorry, I just got a notification there. I probably should have checked my phone, but I did. If you don't get the opportunity to select Orlando, that's fine. Choose Madrid and New York. Because if you do choose those, that doesn't really matter. Because the functionality that we're going to be discussing, the forms that we're going to be showing, I'm going to be showing you in this series, on dependent on any sort of release. Okay? So, I've showed you the developer website. I've showed you what a request form looks like, a requested item form looks like, an incident form looks like, as well as a problem and a change form. I didn't keep those open, so my great plan didn't work out, really. But yeah, that should be it for this episode. So in the next episode, we're going to go a little bit further into incidents, how to create one as an end user, how to create one as an analyst, and how you would generally go about managing an incident. I'm going to, maybe come up with a couple of scenarios, maybe ad hoc. I might not even prepare for them, and just see what we can do in regards to getting those resolved. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It's the very first time I've ever done anything like this on YouTube. I have done some training in the past, but the first time on YouTube. So if you do have any feedback, please leave a comment on how I can improve. If you like the video, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up if you can. And yeah, stick around for the next one. I'll see if I can post them fairly rapidly. Thank you. Goodbye.